are live from the home of the Pistons. Little. Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Brett Berry and Greg Anthony. We've got David Aldridge reporting from the sideline. Right now, the Pistons are back in town for just one game and looking to play well for their home fans. And it's going to be the Spurs off the tip. Now a chance, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. The starting five on the floor. On the court for San Antonio, Karl Anthony Towns is out there with Yaretko. Then there's J.J. Redick. Then there's Warren. And it's Dinwiddie in at the one spot. We have two teams that love to score out of the post, but they need enough space, Brent, to do it. What's the strategy here?
Sometimes it's not just about the space, Kevin, but it's about the timing of the cuts. When a guy has a post-up opportunity, if the defense is looking at that post-up player, if you move at the right time, you can really create some incredible space for that guy, not only to score, but to sometimes find cutters who sneak behind the eyes of the defense.
Barnes kicks to Irving. Back to Barnes. 5 on the clock. And it's Irving missing. On defense, Detroit. A little over a minute gone here in the first quarter. And the whistle blows as the basket counts and a three-point play chance right here. One free throw coming up.
Yeah, exceptional play there to take the bump and still get it to fall.
The Spurs shooting their first free throw attempt on the night.
And when you see T.J. Warren on the court, I just love his activity. I mean, he's always cutting and moving without the basketball. Very adept at finding those openings on the floor.
Detroit's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game.
The point guard that has floor awareness has the advantage. This time it's Kyrie Irving.
Got that one up quick.
Nice way to start the evening. His numbers getting called, and for good reason.
Well, this is also one of those things where you start to think about how you're going to change your defense already. If at all possible, make someone else beat you.
Inside. Now here's Redick, the fast break opportunity. Here's Connaughton. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist. Irving's got 3 assists now in this one. Left side, Redick. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good. And a wide open look for Irving. Another three for Detroit.
It just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
No clue where that pass was going. That is a brutal turnover.
Detroit leading by 6. And in this first quarter, about 3 minutes played. To the wing on the left. Here's Connaughton. Another three for Detroit.
Yeah, great outside shooting, really fueling this run.
Here's Towns. Offensive struggles continue, missing again. Lets it go from deep. Rebounded by the Spurs. Warren kicks to Towns. And that one comes up a bit short.
And usually that mid-range jumper finds the bottom of the net. Defense has to be more aggressive moving forward.
Screen by Parker. Irving passes to Parker. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. Parker's got 5 now.
And the defense looks soft early on. They've got to sum it up. A little more sense of urgency.
Towns. Another miss by Towns.
He seems to be forcing just a little bit out there. He needs to play a little calmer, a little smarter, with a little bit more poise if they're going to win this one.
Here's Irving. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Irving.
Yeah, just not good court awareness there. You cannot afford to be careless. That just leads to bad turnovers.
Dinwiddie dishes to Towns. Good D by Parker.
Right now he's just out of sync. A lot of shots rimming out, and he's got to try to find something different.
And that one's good from Connaughton. 11 points in the game.
This guy is just shredding the defense right now. He's hitting any shots he's putting up.
And for the Spurs last season, falling short of their goal of winning another title. But Greg Popovich, Brent, still called it a great season.
Well, they had their second most wins ever under Pop last year. 7 new players to integrate. In the first year without rock-solid, steady force Tim Duncan down there on the low block. They did have some injuries late down the stretch, and they can look back on another season where they gave their best effort and put themselves in position to get another NBA championship.
Here's Dinwiddie. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one.
And from day one, Towns has been one of the NBA's top post players. A versatile, well-rounded game on the low block. It doesn't hurt that he can step outside and knock down the jumper either.
And now the first timeout called here for Detroit.
And one thing that you can say about this Pistons team is they are fundamentally sound, strong on the glass and closing out possessions, and they really don't make a lot of mistakes.
Pistons, entirely new group now out there. Pistons leading by 11. Greg, with the Pistons and their discipline as a team, part of their great rebounding means they allow very few second chance points, one of the fewest allowed in the league last season.
And couple that with how strong they've been at taking care of the basketball. Low turnover numbers as well as points allowed off of those turnovers. And with that rebounding, I think it makes for very measured basketball. A team's rebounding is a great measure of its energy, and theirs has been terrific here in the first quarter. Well, check out that assist. That's a pair of teammates that are clearly on the same page.
Poor decision making there. No idea what he's going for with that kind of pass in that situation.
Redick for three. And Jones pulls it down. Irving. No good on that last second attempt there. And so it's the Detroit Pistons ahead by 9. Welcome back, folks. We'll see. Pistons leading by 9. We've got Parker. Kyrie Irving is out there with Crabbe. Then there's Harrison Barnes. They're the group Detroit will start the second with. Back to Crabbe. Parker, a screen on Redick. They get it back. Crabbe from long range. The rebound by the Spurs. Towns has got 4 rebounds in this game. And the wide open shot from Redick. Cans the shot from the wing. Redick's got the first points up on the board here in the second quarter for the Spurs. Lets the 3 fly. Detroit, no good that time either.
I think what I'd like to see from him in this quarter is getting going from the perimeter. Hit a 3 in the first, nothing in the second.
Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. But he is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
The Pistons shooting their first free throws of the game. And Brent, 14 years in the NBA, you spent about half your time on the defensive end. Of all the guys you were matched up against, who was surprisingly difficult to cover?
It's funny, Kevin, because a lot of coaches would tell you I did not spend half of my time on the defensive end.
I know better. I know better.
Surprisingly difficult to stop, I would tell you, it would be Mitch Richmond. Many years in Sacramento playing for the Kings. He was known as the Rock, and I can tell you why. Running into him and his physicality as a 2-guard was very, very difficult to stop. One of the game's greatest 2-guards.
Sturdy, wasn't he? He was thick. He was hard to move is what I think about.
He was very thick and physical, which was something that I was certainly not. And they also ran a myriad of screens. For him on every possession. The most potent offensive player they had was Mitch Richmond, and they would get him open every time. So a very difficult cover for him.
And San Antonio calls the first time out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to kind of regroup and discuss ways to maximize these possessions.
And therein lies the trick, discussing ways to be aggressive, but not committing turnovers.
Jones checked in for the Pistons. Pat Connaughton comes in for Crabbe. And here in the second, 2 minutes gone by. Dinwiddie kicks to Jerebko. Rebound by the Pistons. Parker's got his 3rd rebound on the night. Out left to the wing. Here's Warren. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 8 points a game.
Not sure why he keeps trying his luck from deep here. It's just not his night. And Harrison Barnes, just a tremendous athlete at that small forward position. I think his strength enables him to guard up and hold his own against power forwards, and coaches love that versatility.
Irving kicks to Parker. Fires for three. Detroit, no good that time either. To the paint. Parker with the steal. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Bucket is good. Connaughton's got 13.
Guys, his consistency in terms of shooting has really helped them seize control.
Towns, the pass to Dinwiddie. Shoots the three. And Towns gets it to go.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Irving kicks to Connaughton. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Pistons will retain possession.
Playing with lots of energy here, trying to cause turnovers.
Yeah, even though he doesn't come up with the steal, that kind of deflection will disrupt the rhythm of this offensive possession.
And the Spurs making a change here. Harris is checked in. Here's Dinwiddie. Following the basket by Kyrie Irving. Yep, it counts. Dinwiddie's got his first bucket of the night.
That was big because they dug a big hole in the first quarter, but starting to show signs of life.
Screened by Parker. Pass to Connaughton. The shot. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. 15 points in the game. Harris kicks to Dinwiddie. Back to Harris. Pass to Towns. 5 to shoot. In for his 7th make in 13 tries.
Well, after a tough first quarter, it didn't get to him in any way. He's really stepped up here in the second quarter.
Pass to Connaughton. And it's off from three-point range.
You love basketball. Couldn't miss in the first quarter. Now can't make it in the second quarter. Got to be eating at him just a bit.
And with these new player tracking cameras, you see some very interesting numbers. The Spurs, one of the lowest teams in terms of pace and fast break points. And yet, they're one of the top teams, Brent, in average speed and distance travel. How do you explain that?
Well, what they do, Kevin, is every time down the court, they set up their offense and they run through their options. And that can be very frustrating for anybody who's trying to defend it. They're waiting within a 24-second shot clock to have one or two defenders relax, get lazy, and as soon as they do, the Spurs take advantage of it.
San Antonio making a switch here. Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Karl Anthony Towns. Muhammad comes in for Warren. Harris is checked in for J.J. Redick. And it's DeLon Wright in for Spencer Dinwiddie.
O'Quinn getting up and testing the resiliency of those rims.
The execution on point. Just terrific timing on these passes.
I really like the idea that his teammates are waiting until he's in great spots to finish off the possessions. Everything's working.
And San Antonio has possession. He kicks it to Muhammad. And the dunk by Muhammad.
Oh, power flush with a long hang on the rim at the end of that.
That could be a catalyst for him. It really could. Back to Barnes. Parker kicks to Irving. Parker up top. Off target from three-point range. And we have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball. Pistons leading by 5. Here's who Greg Popovich is starting in the second half. Jonas Jerebko out there with T.J. Warren. Then it's Karl Anthony Towns. Then there's J.J. Redick. And it's Dinwiddie in at the point guard position. Spurs working the ball around now. The pass to Connaughton. No good on the three. Spurs trail by 8. And Brent, I read that Kyrie Irving meditates off the court. It's something he reads about and studies up on quite a bit, focused on learning and growing as a person.
Well, if meditating and taking some time out mentally to picture the type of success that you can have out on the floor, then there are some other players in this league, Kevin. They might want to take up what Kyrie Irving is throwing down.
Now, here's Irving. He's got 7. Inside. Here's Connaughton. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist. Irving's got assist number 11 for him here tonight. Jerebko kicks to Towns. Brown. Parker outside. Launches it. That one, no good. Now San Antonio takes it the other way. Will it go? Jabari Parker comes up with the rebound. Parker's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Kevin, the Spurs' Greg Popovich talked about developing players. He said, our method is usually tough love. I don't think coddling works, and beating them to death mentally doesn't work either. You give them a clear picture of what's demanded, show care, understand what makes them tick. If that doesn't get through, you get rid of them. Kevin?
And the military background of Popovich plays a part in this way of thinking, David. It's why the Spurs have been so successful for so many years. Clock at 6. And stolen by Redick. And Towns gets it to go.
Yeah, the onslaught continues. He's been unstoppable now for a couple of nights.
Well, a tip of the cap to the coaching staff here. They're recognizing how well he's playing, so the game plan has been built around him.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass? And they've only got a slight edge on the boards, but it just feels a lot bigger.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. Red, we've seen coaches that yell. You've seen some that show no emotion and everything in between. In your opinion, what's the perfect mental makeup for an NBA coach?
I don't think, Kevin, there's any exact science to what coaching can be. And I think the best coaches just have an innate ability to know when to push buttons, how to push buttons, and to do it on an individual level. There are many times that a coach can make the biggest impact with his player, Kevin, taking him aside and having conversations rather than doing everything in front of the team. And I think the best coaches have a pulse of each player on their team and take the time to go and do that. Got to make those shots. Not sure how he missed it. The defense was just okay.
It's stolen by Harris. Kicks to Muhammad. The feed to O'Quinn. Harris outside. This one for 3. Harris missing again. Detroit with the ball. Big run right now going for him, 11-2. Irving passes to Connaughton. Back to Irving. Pass to Connaughton. Here's the triple. Pistons keep it alive. Barnes. And he makes that one. Barnes has got 8 points.
How about the perseverance there, the extra effort on that offensive glass?
And Muhammad kicks to right. Down low. It's tipped. And it goes out of bounds. That one's off Parker. Rabs check in for Detroit.
For the Pistons, back on the floor, Allen Crowd.
A minute 20 left in the third quarter. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And when you look at what the Pistons have done, pretty clear, this is a team that has a vision of who they want to be. Strong defensively, really good at rebounding the basketball, and I think deliberate and patient on the offensive side of the floor.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. We've got NBA. Basketball in store for you. We're live at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, the home of the Spurs, live on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by the talented analyst tandem of Greg Anthony and Chris Webber. David Aldridge is on our sideline. And for the Detroit Pistons, they come into tonight's game after the loss to the 76ers in Philadelphia. And now the opening lineup for Detroit. They've got Jones. Harrison Barnes is out there with Jabari Parker. And it's Kyrie Irving, And it's Connaughton in at the 2 spot. And Chris, it must be fun for you watching two teams who look for a lot of their offense in the low block.
I mean, there's a real art to being on that low block. If you think about it, you can facilitate just like a point guard. All you have to do is just be dominant down there. When you do that, you'll cause a double team. Your height, your position, where you're on the floor, you can see over other players, and you can find that open man. It's like playing the point guard, just from a different position.
So it's physical, but there is a lot of nuance to it as well, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely physical. Much more physical than being out top of that front of the key. But if you can handle it correctly, that means you have more space, you can be more efficient, use less dribbles, and also now with the way that players play and their skill set, they space the floor so much, so it's harder for a player to get to you and help. And if a player does commit to you with that help, that means you can find an open man and make the defense pay.
Now, here's Warren. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 7.5 points a game. It's good on the putback.
Nice. He snuck a hand in there. That's the great anticipation he brings on the offensive glass.
In transition, here comes San Antonio. Takes the 3. No good from Connaughton.
Some very slack defending. Playing with fire to leave him that open beyond the arc.
Jerebko can't get it to go. The Pistons have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Connaughton kicks to Irving. Shoots from the corner. The shot, no good. Now San Antonio takes it the other way.
Well, he hasn't been very precise at all this quarter.
And the shot by Warren, no good.
That defense is as good as a block. I mean, what looks to be a layup turns into nothing.
And oh, here we go. Warren's got it, the fast break chance. Towns at the elbow. The feed now to Redick. Back to Towns. And the dunk by Towns.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Greg Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Oh, well, that's because it was terrific anticipation. Also, the quick hands, a lethal combination.
Now, Towns. After Jabari Parker missed from long range.
Oh, taking it to the rack with power.
Hammering down the two-hand slam. Detroit, no good that time either. Spurs leading by 6. Well, Towns does so many things on the floor, already an elite post scorer. But, Greg, one area that he has struggled with at times is his defense against other bigs.
And I think he'll continue to improve in that area. What happens with young guys, though, is oftentimes you're improved how good I am mode when you're young, and you lose sight of some of the things that help you win games. And I think that's one reason why he had one of the worst defensive RPMs in the entire league. But young bigs tend to take a bit longer to develop into great defenders, and I expect he will follow in that line. And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score, just great ball movement. Yeah, that's a tough call right there, and really a tough break for the D.
Now, here is Irving. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Shot to stop the drought.
And they've done a nice job controlling the defensive backboard to start this game.
Here's Redick. Up again. Controls the rebound and puts it back up and in. Jerebko's got 6.
Yeah, they're going to have a nice little run here.
And Jones slams it in.
That's just outstanding awareness from Irving right there. Remarkable at finding his guys when they're wide open.
This is to Towns. That one falls coming off Dinwiddie's feet. That's 7 points for Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, second chance points, a huge issue right now. They're getting steamrolled inside.
And the layup's good off the glass. 9 points in the game so far.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
Irving passes to Connaughton. Pistons passing it around. And it's good. He planted his feet on the pick and shielded the defender off.
Effective screen set there for the jump shot. That was the key to the play.
Over in the corner, Warren. They get it again. Towns moves back up. Lays it up off the glass.
Aggressive coming out of the gate here, guys. Wow.
Yeah, you got to love it. Everything's working. Offense, defense, already a big lead.
Irving for three. Drills it from outside. Irving's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three. And it's Towns penetrating. And sticking right with it, gets the foul with the bucket, and he'll go to the line.
And from the opening tip, they just crushed it. Yeah, you see it now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, particularly on offense, where they've been completely in sync. Terrific first quarter.
And so it's San Antonio. Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time. Pistons trail by 16. And Chris, if you're a Pistons fan, you have to be happy with the direction this team is headed. They have a good, youthful core, a brand new arena. Things are looking up.
Well, yeah, 3 championships in the history. 2 of those were back-to-back, and another final. But if you look back at the Pistons' history, just like most organizations, it's full of valleys and peaks. And they just went through a valley for the past 7 years or so. And we'll see how things are lining up for them. It looks promising, but they have to come through and execute.
Karl Anthony Towns is out there with Yaredko. Then it's T.J. Warren. Then there's J.J. Redick. And it's Dinwiddie in at the 1. So that's who San Antonio starts the second with. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Kevin, the Spurs' Greg Popovich talked about developing players. He said, our method is usually tough love. I don't think coddling works, and beating them to death mentally doesn't work either. You give them a clear picture of what's demanded, show care, understand what makes them tick. If that doesn't get through, you get rid of them. Kevin?
And the military background of Popovich plays a part in this way of thinking, David. It's why the Spurs have been so successful for so many years.
Look, it hasn't happened yet, but he's got time to find his rhythm. And if he does, they can turn this thing around quick.
Parker with the steal. Here's Connaughton. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist. Connaughton's got 7 points.
I love seeing Irving share the ball. He has a tremendous feel for when to dish it to his guys.
Here's Towns. And Jones pulls it down.
Just the presence of the D in the lane is enough to make him short-arm that layup.
Offensive rebound. And on the way from Irving for 3. Struggling getting it in. That's his 7th miss in 9 shots.
No 3-pointers for him in the second quarter yet, but he did have one in the first.
Warren dishes to Towns. And Parker with the block. Over in the corner, Barnes. Kicks it to Parker. Back to Irving. Down to 5 on the shot clock. The Pistons need to get off a shot here. The jump shot from the baseline is right on target. Irving's got 4 points now in the quarter.
That's just impeccable shooting from Irving. The D can get in his jersey all they want. It doesn't affect him one bit.
He just powered that one down.
One of the game's top dunkers.
He's just able to shoot over people at a high rate.
But yeah, using his size, that's what I like about his game. He understands where he has the advantage. Then he exploits it.
And Chris, we often talk about what makes a good coach or a good player, but to change it up a bit, what do you think is an aspect of being a good general manager in the NBA?
I think being a good manager is about a couple of things, knowing how to manipulate and deal with the salary cap so that you can bring the best players around each other, but the skill sets have to fit. Best players aren't just what a guy has done in the past or how many points he scored or how many records that he's broken. It's about, does his skill set fit with another player? So you don't want two guys that are ball handlers on the same team, or you don't want two guys that need a ball handler to facilitate, and therefore you don't have anyone to penetrate. So someone that knows how to weave and interject different skill sets that will complement each other, I think, is the type of GM that is successful in this league.
Sometimes easier said than done, though, right?
I think most times easier said than done, because a lot of GMs have some great ideas, but they need someone else to help in that trade, or a player that's willing. And so, you have a lot of moving factors right there.
Defensively, this is what you know. He's coming off a hot game and looking to keep it rolling.
Yeah, but here's the problem. They play team ball. So if you pay him too much attention, that just leaves other guys open, and it's too difficult of an adjustment to make.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Rejected by Harris.
And Harris just using that long reach of his so well on defense. Shooters have to be more careful, or he'll rise up and swat your shot away.
Irving from long range. Hits it from three-point range. Irving's got it back down to within single digits for Detroit.
And started hot, and he's only gotten harder.
Dinwiddie kicks to Towns. Another miss by Towns.
The defense recognizing the situation and getting right in his face once he got close to the bucket.
Takes the three. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Jabari Parker. That's his first foul.
And that's just all about positioning. He gets boxed out, can't fight around it, and gets the over-the-back call.
He's showing good hustle. I mean, a little too much hustle, though. I mean, you got to dial it down just a little bit.
Towns, no luck. And here are the Pistons. They're on a 17-6 run. And the rejection by Towns. Harris against Parker. Harris passes to Towns. No good. Excellent D that time from Jones. Here's Connaughton. Fresh 24 for the Pistons. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Karl Anthony Towns. 50 seconds left in the first half of basketball. San Antonio calls timeout.
And really, whether you're up or down, it's a game of adjustments.
Well, yeah, he might have seen something he wants to exploit. Well, we'll see what they run coming out of this.
A different look now for San Antonio. Shabazz Muhammad comes in for T.J. Warren. And it's Calderon in for Dinwiddie. Spurs leading by 9. Calderon, no good. Now the Pistons with it. They're on a 17-6 run. And there's the call on Tobias Harris. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
Calderon against Irving. Nobody near Parker. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. Irving's got 5 assists tonight. Calderon kicks to O'Quinn. Feeds it to Redick. Again, the miss by the Spurs. Pistons trail by 6. And here's Irving. He's got 10. Connaughton passes to Irving. Lets the 3 fly. He got it up there.
Glass inside is the realest driver. Planets in orbit. Line them up with the stars. Tarot cards, you can see the Pharaoh Nas. Iron Mike, Messiah type. Before the Christ, after the death. The last one left. Let my cash invest in stock. Came a long way from blasting. On blocks, went from Seiko to Rolex. Owning acres from the projects with no chips to large cake though.
the Eastern Conference on display, featuring the Detroit Pistons. Thanks for joining us as we get set to bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. Kevin Harlan here alongside Greg Anthony and Chris Webber. DA David Aldridge is on our sideline. The Hawks with their last game here in Atlanta before heading out on the road. And now the opening lineup for Detroit. We've got Irving. Harrison Barnes is out there at Jabari Parker. Then it's Jones. And it's Connaughton in at the shooting guard position. And the Hawks with possession here. With the shot. No good there. So Atlanta will take it the other way.
And the Hawks in the last couple seasons with some roster turnover, established veterans departing, and now with Millsap leaving, they have embraced a complete rebuild.
And the Hawks traded Howard and lost Paul Millsap in short time. So the rebuild, it would appear, is on for Atlanta.
Yeah, and it seems like they feel good with how they've approached it. You know, you got to commit to turning things over and starting anew. And the Hawks have taken the first steps to building towards the future.
Irving kicks to Connaughton. For the three. Jones against Porzingis. And there's the 3-second violation. We play just over a minute here in the first. Ball, the pass to Porzingis. Parker with the steal. Here's Connaughton. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist.
Look at Irving go to work off the ball screen and his man. He's always alert, constantly scanning the floor for his teammates.
And now the fast break. Irving with the ball. Three-pointer. They get the rebound. The three. And the three ball is good. Irving's got himself on the board with three there.
I like how Irving feels the defense out. He's sensing he has room to shoot and fire once he gets the rock. Now that was a sensational feed. He hit him right on the move.
Now here's Irving. Steady offensive output from him, averaging more than 16 points a game.
Yeah, good awareness there. He sees an opening and doesn't hesitate.
Well, that opening right there, that's just because the defense failed to rotate.
Pass to Parker. Shoots. His three-pointers off the mark. For Atlanta, they've gone 2 of 3 here to start off the game. Ball with it. He's picked up by Irving. Outside, Porzingis. And a wide-open look for Hood. Drops in the tray.
There's a chance he could go for a big game if they don't beat him up on the perimeter.
And Rodney Hood played 1 season at Mississippi State, then transferred, played another season at Duke. A good floor spacer, Greg, at 6'8".
You know, it's his in-between game that impresses me. Able to beat his man off the dribble. He can hit that little pull-up or drop it off to a teammate. This guy continues to improve.
Now here's Porzingis, following the miss by Kyrie Irving. Pass to Connaughton. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. Connaughton's got 5 points so far. We've seen the lead change hands quite a bit in this one.
And guys, I think each team knows they can win this game. Just a matter who can catch that momentum.
And another 3 for Detroit.
Yeah, this looks like a pregame shoot-around with all the threes they're allowing.
Outside Irving. There's the 3. Scores for only the second time tonight. Now 2 for 6 from the field.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Shots good by Green.
That's not a possession they'll want to repeat. Despite the points, they got to get a better shot than that.
Gobert with the block. Irving for 3. Jones kicks to Connaughton. Outside Irving. There's a good screen. Back to Parker. Pistons passing it around. Irving dishes to Barnes. A three-pointer off the mark.
And they have a narrow edge here in rebounding early on, and you wonder what kind of a role that's going to play moving forward.
Porzingis sets the pick for Green. Porzingis kicks to Gobert. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact.
And you so often hear about how much Detroit Pistons fans pride themselves on the defense of this team. It's a part of the franchise's identity. All the fans in Detroit definitely love their defense.
And only a handful of teams have a franchise identity like that with the Pistons in defense. Maybe the Lakers playing up-tempo or Memphis grinding it out.
Well, yeah, not many teams or franchises have an identity. That's what makes it so special to play in Detroit for that reason. There's nothing like hearing the crowd get hyped for a defensive stop.
Drains the three-pointer.
That's his mindset. Attack, attack, attack whenever possible.
Gets to the rim for 2 with the D all over him.
Man, this thing is just going back and forth tonight.
Each team is stepping up, rising to the challenge. Yet another lead change.
A 3 from Barnes. Gobert pulls it in.
Oh, man, you know he'd love to have that one over.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. The 3 from Porzingis. And out of bounds. The Pistons will take it. Irving with the ball. Screen by Parker. There's Crabbe with the 3.
And with his length, Porzingis can be very disruptive on
back right after this. And off we... The Pistons leading. Here are the 5. Detroit has to start the second quarter. Irving is out there with Crabbe. Then it's Jabari Parker. Then there's Harrison Barnes. And Greg, when Jabari Parker is healthy, he has shown that he can be a go-to scorer in this league.
Parker reminds me a bit of how Carmelo Anthony looked at the same age. His ability to just blow by defenders is going to always be something he can lean on. Just fantastic with how efficient he is at this age.
They set the pick. Irving kicks to Crabbe. Outside Irving. Screen by Parker. No good from Irving. And taking care of the ball has been a problem for him.
That's something they've got to fix. While the defense has been good, a lot of these turnovers have been unforced.
Green, no luck.
I don't care who it is. You can't leave him wide open from that range.
The Hawks have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. Screen by Porzingis. Green with the ball. He's picked up by Parker. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Porzingis. And the go-ahead bucket, no good.
That's not the type of opportunity he fails to convert very often.
Again, the miss by the Pistons.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Well, I'd love to hear his explanation. The coach right there, I mean, that should be an interesting conversation.
And they take the lead. Porzingis has got 4 points in the quarter.
Defensive rebounding, just such a crucial part of the game.
I tell you what, it's like football, having a 3rd and 13 and then running up the gut. It just frustrates the defense. You have to hate giving up second chance points. It's demoralizing. After basically, I mean, you had to stop.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Will Barton, he's checked in for Gerald Green. And it's Rozier in for Ball. Now here's Cram. He hasn't scored yet. That I'm sure will change. Out of bounds. It'll go to the Hawks. Well, you look around the NBA and there are some incredible athletes. Chris, in your opinion, which players in the league right now are the most physically imposing when you see them in action?
3 people come to mind. First, DeAndre Jordan, just his size and stature. And then when you see him run like a little fella and jump with the best of them, it is so intimidating seeing him out there on that court. LeBron, I mean, you still might say he has the best basketball body ever. Being that 6'7", 6'8" frame, whatever he goes by with a bunch of muscle behind it, being able to use his quickness and strength to get to the post, you just have to love it. And then Antetokounmpo, one of the most unique players we've seen with his length, his size, Mr. Stretch Armstrong, but he gets it done on both ends of the floor. And I just think his unique body style and skill set makes him fun to watch as well.
Now here's Barton. Following the miss by Kyrie Irving.
Oh, and he went for the two-hander on the slam using some muscle.
Some urgency from him there, sure. The Atlanta shooting their 5th free throw of the game here.
And they've shot the ball well this season in terms of their attempts, 81%.
Now here is Irving. He's got 6. Parker kicks to Irving. Pistons passing it around. And going out of bounds. Last touch by Barnes. The Hawks leading by 4. They double him with Irving. So another turnover for Detroit. On the wing, Barnes. So it's the Hawks now. They haven't allowed any points in the second quarter. Out to Hood. Here's Porzingis.
That's 2 really unproductive trips in a row, ending in turnover.
Pistons trail by 4. Irving passes to Parker. And stolen by Hood. And they're running. And the basket by Rozier.
And a good example there of why it's important to change ends quickly.
Yeah, talent in this league has it so that now pretty much every team can push the pace. You have to get back on defense.
Now a timeout called by Detroit. And as the coaches go to the clipboard to outline their strategy during the timeout, the players getting a chance to rehydrate with some Gatorade. That's key to staying fresh all the way to the final whistle.
And Kevin, it really is. And every one of these players knows it. They're all making sure to stay hydrated. It's impossible to play your A game if you're not getting enough to drink, especially towards the end of games when the physical toll of a long contest really starts to add up.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Alan Williams, he's checked in for Gobert. Spates comes in for Porzingis. And Morris subbed in for Rodney Hood. Here's Spates. And he gets contact and the whistle on the shot. 2 shots coming up. And there's the foul against Detroit. For Atlanta, they have gone 4 for 5 from the charity stripe in this one up to now. And Stan Van Gundy, known for being one of the more demanding coaches when it comes to defense. He doesn't care who you are. If you're not giving it your all on the defensive end, you're going to find yourself on the bench.
Well, he's clear with what he wants and what he expects, and when you step on the floor.
The Hawks have missed 2 free throws in the game, going 5 for 7. And when Marcus Morris gets a defender in a one-on-one situation, Greg, he feels the most at home.
And part of that might be from going up against his twin brother all the time when they were young. Marcus Morris has a great knack to find a shot he likes. Terrific with his mid-range.
Barton kicks to Spates. Right side, Williams. Passes it to Rozier. And stolen by Kyrie Irving. To the wing right side. Connaughton kicks to Bullock. Outside Irving. And there's the pass to Anunoby. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. It's going to be on Maurice Spates.
And really the defense fouling there to prevent the layup, but that's exactly what you need to do.
And Atlanta calls their first timeout of the game.
And Kevin, they've been committing a lot of turnovers here. Taking care of the basketball is the #1 priority right now in that huddle. They've got to tighten it up. And really, whether you're up or down, it's a game of adjustment.
Well, yeah, he might have seen something he wants to exploit. Well, we'll see what they run coming out of this.
Gerald Green, he's checked in for the Hawks. Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. The Pistons making a change here. Parker's checked in. No good on the second free throw.
And that's the battle they haven't been winning today. Their work on the glass has been porous, and that's got to change.
Spade sets a screen for Green. It's stolen by Jones. Here's Irving. The putback. Controls the rebound and puts it back up and in.
You know, we talk about it all the time, guys. Those second chance buckets, always the result of that extra effort. And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And Greg, he says, thank you very much, and sails in for the flush.
But it's surprising, Kev, to see so little urgency on the defensive side, especially with them losing this game right now.
It's good, and the Hawks lead is cut down to 3 on the bucket from Connaughton. To the middle, out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
That will count. Oh, and he just knocked down the buzzer beater.
And they make sure to...
And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. Hawks lead by 1. And don't go away. And the Pistons with possession here. And Chris, as you grew up a Piston fan being born in Detroit, which Piston were you the biggest fan of when you were growing up?
Oh, wow. By far, Isaiah, no question. Isaiah was the heart and soul of that team, a guy that was smiled, but had the heart of an assassin that wanted to play and use everything that he had to get a win out of every game. The best small guard, in my opinion, the game has seen. His handles, his leadership, He was just a Chicago kid trying to make it. And then, of course, Joe Dumars, and the fact that, you know, he was just so solid, such a great guy for the community, such a heck of a two-guard out there, a defender, a guy that can spread the floor. And, of course, Bill Laimbeer, his physical play, Bob Lanier, my man Rick Mahorn, Adrian Dantley, Mark Aguirre. I could keep going. Chuck Nevitt even was a Piston for a while.
Hood out there with Porzingis. Then there's Gerald Green. Then it's Ball. And it's Gobert in at the 5 roaming the paint. They're the group for Mike Budenholzer starting the second half.
And out of the gates here in this second half, they have not started well. 0 of 3.
Here's Green. And that one's good. Green's got 7 points in the game.
Tough effort right there on the glass. Those second chance points can pay off in a big way.
Here's Connaughton. Second chance shot. Here's Irving. Not going to go that time. And Atlanta will go the other way with it. Hood kicks to Porzingis. Parker with the steal. Dishes it to Jones. Good on the shot. Jones has got his second basket.
And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game.
Well, there's a swagger out there. You can see it on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
It's clear this just isn't his night. I mean, if they're going to keep him on the floor, I think his best role would be to be a decoy.
Here's Gobert. Porzingis kicks to Green. The three-pointer, no good.
Some very slack defending, playing with fire to leave him that open beyond the arc.
And when you look at the younger generation of players coming in now, Chris, of course, you do the interviews, you see them, you talk to them. Is it easy for you to relate to these younger players?
Yeah, it's definitely easy to relate to them. I think that our generation had a lot of influence on their style, their kind of expression of self, just as the generations before us did. And we have that unique bond. I think that's one of the advantages I have, that I've known some of these players since they were young. I know their habits, I know that they're good kids, good individuals, and they just express themselves differently. You know, do I like the way they come into a game dressed looking like, I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne and Run DMC mix? Nah, I don't like that. But people used to say that about my style and my clothes too, Kevin. I'm sure they did that about you too, you know. So, man, I just love it. I just take it as we have some of the best players that fans have seen, and I'm just enjoying everything from the wild clothes to the music to the style. But no, it's not hard to relate to them, man, because they're all pretty good.
Chris, just for the record, they never said that about me. I always...
Yeah, you always set the trend.
In the corner, Irving with it. Parker outside. The Pistons working the ball around now. Connaughton. Green with the block. And it's Connaughton missing. Hood for 3. And the 3 ball is good. And now a 6-point Hawks lead.
Yeah, and Ball, a transcendent talent. I think has a real skill for finding his teammates when they have those good looks at the rim. Against length, he does a nice job of creating just enough separation.
Yeah, but he has a big height advantage, but that's somewhat mitigated out there on that perimeter when you got to come check him.
Nice shot by Porzingis.
They are just killing him on the interior.
Now a timeout called by Detroit. And Kyrie Irving very steady with the ball in his hands. Not a lot of turnovers for a player who handles the ball as much as he does.
Yeah, I mean, he makes great reads. Pick and roll, drives, kicks. He keeps his dribble low, but sometimes he has his dribble high. He's great at the pocket passes, great off pick and rolls, great at screens, and can space the floor.
Martin's checked in for Gerald Green. And the Pistons making a change here as well. Gortat's checked in.
He's trying to help him add to this lead, but he just can't find his touch.
They set the pick. And a wide open look for Irving. Hits some rim on the way in, and the bucket's good.
You see how Irving right there capitalized in that situation? He's great at getting into position when screens are involved.
Outside, Porzingis releases. He squares up and sinks it. Porzingis has got 10 points in the game.
His touch has been terrific this quarter. Most of what he puts up is going down.
It's Parker outside.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Here's Porzingis. Lays it up and banks it in. Now it's a 7-point Hawks lead.
After failing to be aggressive and look for a shot in the first half, you don't have to let him know this time. You don't have to remind him now. He is really taking his game over in the second.
Parker with the steal. Here's Connaughton. He's got 19. Out to Parker. Parker with another miss. Barton wide open. He fires. Another three for Atlanta. Now a timeout called by Detroit.
Yeah, he's got to make some adjustments here. Just too easy to score in the lane against them right now.
Well, I think the first thing they need to talk about in the rotations is a lot of miscommunication out there.
Yeah, some of it's shot selection, some just bad luck, and they just can't get anything going.
Well, this is the dilemma as a coach. You wonder, do I need to call a timeout here? Do I need to settle these guys down? Should I let them play through it?
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. Irving got it off in time, but it's no good. And so it's the Atlanta Hawks heading to the bench. Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up. 2K Sports, happy to have you with us. The Hawks leading by 7. And on the floor for Detroit here in the fourth. They've got Crabbe. Jones is out there with Jabari Parker. Then there's Harrison Barnes. And it's Irving at the 1. And it's Rozier missing. The Pistons shoot 33% for the night. That's a big thorn in their side right now. Screen by Jones. Barnes with it. Now guarded by Barton. Shot clock at 5. Crabbe, no good. For the Detroit Pistons, they come in off the wash to the Clippers. And Jones over to help. Here's Muscala. 18 feet away, and he knocks it down. Muscala's got the lead up to 9 now for Atlanta. Offensive rebound. Irving dishes to Jones. It's Parker outside. And he's good on the 3 ball.
And you can see the play calling this half. Another one from distance.
Well, that's because they made a concerted effort to get the shooters involved. Now they've built up the confidence.
Wide open. The Hawks leading by 6. And stolen by Barnes. Outside Irving. Out to Parker. Back to Irving. Fires for 3. And it's good on the assist by Parker. Parker's got 3 assists now in this one. Spades the pass to Muscala. There's a screen. Rozier kicks to Muscala. Last quarter of play, about 2 minutes in now. Here's Spates. Pass to Baker. Shoots a 3. Detroit with the rebound. Jones has got his 6th rebound on the night. On the wing, Irving. There's Crabb with the 3. Rebound by the Hawks. Their biggest lead of the game was 9. And following this game, they hit the road to challenge the Bucks at BMO Harris Bradley Center in Milwaukee. That's game 1 of a 3-game road trip. Detroit making a switch here. And Parker comes with the help. So it's Atlanta now. Spates kicks to Rozier. Back to Spates. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Over Parker. Here's Muscala. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Muscala's got 4 this quarter.
And they've controlled the glass throughout this game, but it's still close.
And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed him there for some reason. I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
And it's a completely new group for Atlanta. Count it. 14 points for Porzingis.
And I love the momentum he's building. Last game, he was just as dominant.
And defensively, you know he's feeling good right now. And as the opposing team, you better adjust your scheme accordingly.
Good for 3. Good on the 3-point shot. And the Hawks lead by 5.
Not shot from outside. There's no doubt about that. Spreading the floor and getting them up.
Well, if they want to cut into this lead, they need to make more intelligent plays on offense, not force something up when it's not there. Well, he's picking his spots, understanding the game so well, helps them fuel this lead.
Parker with no one around. From out on the wing, he knocks it down. For Atlanta, they come in off the loss to Cleveland. Back to Porzingis. Goes up on the block. Again, the Hawks good for 2.
That's the way to attack. Get it into the post and go to work.
Parker outside. And there's another one for the Pistons. 1:44 left here in the 4th quarter. Out to Porzingis. It's up a 3. And the call will be against Lonzo Ball. That's his first foul. Pistons trailed by 5. Here's Connaughton. Gobert pulls it in. Gobert's got 11 rebounds in the game. Nice shot by Porzingis.
I don't think we'll ever see another 7'3" player who can drain the 3 like Porzingis. He takes the idea of that inside-outside threat to a whole nother level.
Irving with it. Now Green defending. Irving dishes to Parker. It's stolen by Gobert. .106 left in the 4th quarter. To the paint. Ball, the pass to Porzingis. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
No question, he got bumped on that shot.
He drops the first one, and that will put them up by 9. So Detroit ends up going with the new group. And he makes both free throws. The Pistons have gone 6 of 12 from the field here in the 4th, and even 50%. The drive by Collison. Gobert brings the double team. Detroit, no good that time either. Outside, Green. Right side, Porzingis. From deep. Drills the 3-pointer. And the Hawks lead by 13.
And leaving nothing to chance here on this game-clinching run.
Yeah, that offense shifted into high gear. I love the attack mindset.
And with the time remaining, I'm just not seeing it.
Well, you know they like to have some plays back, especially a couple of those stupid ones from earlier. But I tell you what, they'll learn from this.
The feed to Collison. It's hauled in by Porzingis. Now, here's Ball. And so Atlanta takes this one by a big margin. Some good moments throughout this one, but they have the clear advantage down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way they executed on both ends of the floor, completely under control for the vast majority of the game. And whenever there was a misstep, they just didn't allow it to fester, and that's why they're